Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Through Imperial Eyes. I'm your host, Braydon Leadbetter.
I'm your co-host, Jackson Delane.
And we are here in my basement, on my projector, to watch The Last Jedi and talk about it while the movie is playing, also known as a movie commentary, I believe the kids are calling it these days.
Over on your projector?
Over on my projector.
Are we going to break it?
I mean, at this point, we almost did.
I'm kind of heavy.
But this is our special 1 year anniversary. And man, I think it's crazy that it has already been a year since we started this podcast and our first episode got released.
I refuse to fully acknowledge it. It feels like we've started. I feel like we've been over a year for a while now.
I think it's because we had a lot of like pre-launch things we were doing.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Getting like the logo made, getting all the graphics and music and all the stuff we
had been
needed.
in talks for doing it.
Yeah, at least since
while.
I think November of 2020, I want to say.
And I think it's funny is we literally were just like, you want to do a podcast?
Yeah,
like,
I think I tweeted like, hey, yo, who want to start a Star Wars podcast? And then Jackson just
it's like me in the crowd
replied,
shooting my hand up.
Yeah,
I will.
just replied that emoji with the hand up. But yeah, so we're going to be watching The Last Jedi. And if you're listening on audio only, this might not be as exciting for you unless you're watching the movie as well. So I might just put this episode on the back burner until you can get in front of a screen and watch it with us. But we are on Disney Plus. We are on time code 00. We're just going to give you a 3, 2, 1 play.
Get your popcorn.
And you can sync up. Get your popcorn, get your beer. We got our Blue Moons here. We're going to have fun watching this movie. So
Blue Moon sponsor us, please.
Please? That would be great.
That'd be kind of cool.
Anyway, here we go for the sync. It's going to be 3, 2, 1 play. Like I said, here we go. 3, 2, 1 play. Okay. Lucasfilm logo's coming up and off we go. So Jackson, what are some of like your overall thoughts about this movie before we like really get in deep into it?
So I think for me, this is definitely the movie of the sequel trilogy that I think about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is probably the most important of the sequel trilogy when it comes to just the story.
Yeah, sure.
Everything is vital in this one. And I think that's where it's got its strong suit is that, you know, a lot of people gave this one crap because it wasn't an Empire lookalike.
Yeah.
And I think this one is so important at giving the same amount of important information that Empire did. It just didn't follow the exact way. And I commemorate it for that. You know, a lot of people really are disdained by that and pushed away by that. And that's dumb to be offset by that.
Right.
So that's where a lot of my appreciation has turned to with this movie is that Rian Johnson really did make an incredible script, really did tell a great story with this.
Completely. It's my favorite Star Wars movie and script. So what do you think about this opening crawl here? Like the way it, you know, because you kind of expect that this movie doesn't really need an opening crawl because it picks up, it's the first Star Wars movie that picks up directly after the last one left off. What do you think about how this crawl was executed?
Well, I think it does a really good job at explaining, like, not even everything of the last movie, but the instant now and and the things that are important about it. And I think that this is.
Oh, I love this shot.
This could be a really cool start to just the sequel trilogy, just being the sequels. You know, is like it just picks right up here and.
Man, Billie Lourd shines in this movie.
Do you think she could do more roles as Leia? I wouldn't even say as a movie, but as almost a cameo role that she's the Max Lloyd.
I think was it her that they used in Rogue One for the performance capture?
I think it was. But I don't want to be sure for that.
So I know a lot of complaints about this movie is the way that Hux is portrayed.
Oh, I absolutely love Hux in this movie.
I do too. He's wonderful. And I don't think everyone's like, oh, they just made Hux this buffoon and he's not even scary anymore. Dude, I love that though.
I think for me in the sequels and Rise of Skywalker, my problems are with Hux, but it's more of not his character decisions. It's just how I felt his character was kind of wasted. I felt Hux needed a bigger send off because I really liked the Tarkin style character. It's our boy.
Chirping nervously. I love that. We have the subtitles on, everybody, so we might be commenting on the subtitles as they go through.
It's the best. But I like that the sequel trilogy gave us a Tarkin style character that stays the entire time.
Sure. Yeah.
So I like seeing the changes in variety of that character. Of, you know, the first one is it's General Hugs.
Yeah, it took me so many viewings to realize that's what he says.
It took the subtitles for me to realize it. Yeah.
I love this moment.
My point is that I like Hugs.
Yeah.
I'm holding for General Hugs.
I think this does a really good job at setting the tone. Like, okay, this is going to be a dark Star Wars movie, but it's going to be fun.
But it'll be quippy. Yeah.
It'll be a fun, like, you know, because I think going into The Last Jedi, I was one of those people who was like, oh, it's going to be such a dark Star Wars movie. And I was surprised and like kind of relieved that like they started on this kind of note because of how dark the movie does end up getting down the line.
Yeah.
About his mother. Oh, such a classic Star Wars moment. Punch it! Yeah, dude. A single light fighter. He's insane. Yeah, dude. I love his performance in this.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that a lot of people had a problem with Hux in this movie.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of complaints that, you know, he's kind of portrayed as this comic relief-ish character. And, you know, that's a reasonable concern, but like it's not something that sticks out to me as an issue.
I kind of disagree with that completely, actually. I never took him as a comedic relief character.
Right. And I didn't either. Oh, I love Captain Kennedy, dude. He spends so little time in this movie, but he leaves such a you know, such a mark on this movie just from his performance alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like the characters that there's just some kind of look that they give, and that's the fun of Star Wars, is that everybody has a story. So I always like when an actor really delves into that character and showing its first, you know, its first appearance of it.
Sure. This is a fun little moment.
Why does sparks and electricity work like water holes?
I don't know. Fire on the base.
I appreciate that this movie is just like Mad Max Fury Road and that the entire thing's a car chase. Yeah.
I also appreciate that they kind of opened up on this movie with, you know, the First Order is in kind of like full force, ready to take out the Resistance.
Yeah, like this is like a panic attack.
Yeah.
You know, just a quick response. That was cool.
Just so everybody knows, there might be a little bit of dog barking background here. Got some dogs upstairs that really want to come down and watch the movie with us.
Did Carrie pass before they finished this movie?
No, they actually, so she passed a couple months after they wrapped.
Okay.
So they were thankfully able to finish.
Did she ever get to see the release of it?
Oh, she died in 2016, and this came out in 2017. Almost a year after she died.
Yeah. I also solve problems with my head.
Yep.
Bark.
Ooh, such a cool move. I love that in the sequels you get to see like X-Wings do all these cool maneuvers that you don't get to see in the original trilogy. I also love the red lighting that they go for. Oh, this shot is... I want this on a poster.
Yeah.
All these Resistance bombers coming in.
I do always love the Resistance theme. That always gets me hype.
It makes me like do the Jay-Z meme of
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
the. Oh man, that TIE fighter screech. Yeah, I also have to say, I think this is one of the most beautifully shot Star Wars movies.
I agree with as well. Appreciate that we live in times of great technology that we can just
and like some of the greatest cinematographers to ever live are working on these movies.
Yeah.
There she is. I believe the actress's name is Hermione Corfield. I really love her in this movie. I think this moment is when this movie starts getting dark. Like you really start to sense.
I agree with that.
I think you really start to sense the viciousness of the First Order.
Yeah, the sudden change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't let up after that, too.
No, it just keeps going.
It does a good job at making sure that there is this intensity the entire time. That was a cool shot. The segue. I felt like I was on like a roller coaster ride. It felt like Ride of the Resistance.
Paige Tico.
Are there any Tico like comics or literature or anything you know of?
Not that I know of. I believe she's in the. I mean, if Rose is in the. No, never mind. I thought for a split second she was in the Canto Bight novel, but I don't think she is. I think Canto Bight's a whole separate thing. Such a cool shot. I love. This is one of my favorite camera moves in Star Wars. Right here, lands on the eye, opens the eye, boom. Love that.
Braydon, do you make movies? Are you
Listen
a
here,
filmmaker?
My occupation has to do with doing pretty shots.
Do you work on sets every day?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna leave you guys with Jackson for just a second while I deal with this barking dog, so I'll be right back.
Gotta go put the dog on the chain.
Actually, I want to talk about this first. I really do.
Welcome back. We've handled the dog.
No, not yet. That shot is so important. Did this get you in the theater whenever?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
I know. You're like, oh my God.
Love it.
Yeah.
The only bomber to get through. And
well, I think it's funny too how one bomber does the job that they needed, but they had all of the bombers.
Yeah, that's how. I mean, that's I think an encapsulation of the tone of the First Order in this.
Yeah.
In this movie, and they take out a freaking dreadnought. It's insane. There's Poe's reaction. Oh man.
Yeah, I wonder if like Paige Tico's
I love this look. He's just like,
takes it.
These kids.
Word for
There's
you,
JJ.
meddling kids. There's JJ. I thought you meant Abrams at first.
Oh no, I meant our buddy JJ. Which, if JJ, if you're watching, shouts out to you.
Thanks for being in Star Wars.
Thanks for being a friend. Okay, now I'm gonna go deal with the doggy.
Hey everyone. So if you're watching, chilling, crack open a beer, crack open a cold one. The Resistance are flying off. It's like, how does a ship pull in and then like do you think like a ship pulling in like Poe's where he kind of stops it all of a sudden, if the ship's still in the air and the capital ship hey Snoke, is that a monkey? Hey yo, is that Caesar? Caesar the Ape? What are other? Is that Caesar the Ape fighting Bill Weasley?
Oh my God, you're doing this. I love that Snoke can use the Force
was thinking that, through holograms.
through hologram. Originally, this fun fact: this shot of the tilt down on Finn was the original opening shot of this movie.
This was just how it was going to start.
From the crawl, it would tilt down and then land on Finn.
Post battle, like he had to find out. Yep. Interesting.
Fried chip.
Chilling.
I love it. I love this transition we're about to get here.
There ain't no medical droids taking care of you, Finn. You just let you wander out.
Oh, such a great cue for this shot.
Yeah, I love all of the H2 cinematography.
Oh yeah, dude.
All of, and just the music and the just like magicalness of it, you know.
In this moment is like I kind of equate it to Rey is kind of us.
Yeah.
Like, Luke Skywalker, please come back. And okay, here's this moment right here I kind of want to talk about, because I can't remember if we have different opinions on this moment.
I know, I was about to ask you, what do you think about it too?
So the moment everyone has been waiting for 2 years. Goodbye. So let's break this down. How do you feel about that before we get into it?
I get why Luke tosses it. My gripe about it is that is the lightsaber that kind of put him into all of this, to where I view it as though Luke cut himself off of the Force. Luke didn't cut himself off of being a Skywalker. And I mean that not in the sense of how, you know, everybody wanted Luke Skywalker the legend, but it was that like Luke in especially Return of the Jedi, like, was all about the family and the I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use, but like
the legacy.
The legacy of it, rather than, you know, being the legend of it. So I would think that getting that lightsaber specifically back, Luke would be more, you know.
Love this moment.
Everyone in the theater. Oh,
yeah. Luke would be more
like sentimental to keeping it for the sense of like keepsaking it, not, you know, or doing something with it. You know, maybe he could go and bury it on Tatooine, but
Luke's first spoken words in 40 years.
What are your thoughts? What do you think about it?
There's so many moments where I want to talk about
chilling with Chewie.
I think that reaction of getting the lightsaber, thinking about it for a second, and throwing it over his shoulder, I feel like that is him. Like, as he says kind of later on, he expects that Rey is this girl that wants him to, like, you know,
come and
be
jump
a Jedi,
in and save
come
the day.
on,
Yeah.
like, come in, use the Force, tear down the entire First Order, and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just don't understand, do you?
Yeah. It's much deeper. Yeah. Well, and
he doesn't, like, I feel like what we learn later in this movie is that he is kind of, in a way, kind of disgusted by his lightsaber, or just lightsabers, because of, you know, the way
everything that's happened,
the way his use of a lightsaber with Ben in that moment kind of made the galaxy crumble. That's my view. Is that, you know, it's not as simple as, oh, this is my family's saber, I better treat it with respect. Like, that's the lesson he learns. But I mean, in this moment, he's acting irrationally.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got a look in his face when he tosses it of that, like, that determination of, like, I am making this full-on choice, even though, like, it doesn't need to be this, because he could still tell Rey no, and keep the lightsaber.
Yeah.
But I think you're right of acting irrationally, of just straight up tossing it. Like he wants nothing to do with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
we talk about how good Snoke looks in this shot,
I know,
in this
and
movie.
you know what? I am still always kind of upset that they kill him in this episode, in this one. And
spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Look at this shot. I mean, come on, that's
he does look
photoreal.
good.
Anyway, you were saying, sorry.
I think they could have built more with like I wish we saw more with Snoke scenes like this in like Force Awakens, you know.
Yeah.
Is
for sure.
build that relationship more rather than it being this movie.
And I think we get that in the Rise of Kylo Ren comics.
Yes. Yeah.
But it would be cool to see that kind of stuff on screen. I also love that they address a lot of the issues that people had with the first movie.
How do you mean?
So he just said bested by a girl who's never held a lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of people's, gripe with Rey, and we learn why she's like that, obviously. But I'm glad like they're kind of tackling it head on, because I mean I think Ryan kind of assumed that was going to be the reaction.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it's addressed in a really interesting way. Love this moment too.
I think this movie is my favorite of Kylo as well.
Yeah.
I do really like him in Rise of Skywalker too.
This movie, I think Kylo develops the most.
Yes. And I think this movie does the best at like showing the split between him.
Yeah, sure. Even like metaphorically right there with the helmet.
Just everything, yeah.
His walk is so iconic. Why didn't Mark Hamill like get at least a nomination for this movie? Because I think this is the best Mark Hamill has ever been in this movie.
I think because it was so divisive when it came out.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I remember that in 2018 they like came out at the Oscars for like they were like announcing a nomination or something, or one of the awards.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I love this line. I also love the line. I don't know why we just listened to it and I can't remember it, but the old you think I'm gonna come out with a laser sword and face the entire First Order myself, but he ends up doing just that.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah, love that. Oh, the music cue.
This location's it's over in Ireland, right?
Yeah, they actually only ended up getting like they shot a lot of the exterior stuff in Ireland, but not all of it is on Skellig Michael, the island.
Oh, okay.
Like they were only able to get on Skellig Michael for like I think like 3 days, and they used it to shoot like
the exterior and
they used it to shoot like this probably isn't Skellig Michael, it's probably a set, but something like the lightsaber handoff to Rey, like that, where we left off.
Well,
that kind of stuff, I believe, was actually on Skellig Michael.
Seeing the first day of filming trailer for this movie.
Yeah, me too.
They were on this.
It was like February 2016. Yeah. I was like, holy cow, is this already?
You're like, wow, that was fast. Yeah, yep, exactly.
Yeah. Love this. If you read, I actually have the Last Jedi Art of book. And like they kind of talk about like whenever they were developing this movie, like how Luke's everyday life would be and like how they would showcase that. There's a lot of really cool concept art in the Art of book for the Last Jedi, for Luke especially. Also, I didn't know if you noticed that his door is his X-wing.
Is it really?
It's like a piece of his X-wing. Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen this movie much deeper than I have
Yeah, dude.
at all. So you're going to be the one pointing out all of that.
I saw this movie, I believe, 6 times in the theater.
I saw it like 3 weeks late.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that.
I'm like that with movies.
That's true. You still haven't seen No Way Home.
I still haven't seen No Way Home.
I remember like there being some leaks of the forest tree back in the day. Like someone had like snuck some set photos of the forest tree. And I was like, oh man, is it going to be like, what is this going to be?
Right.
And I'm glad it's like this kind of cove for like the Force.
I always love the mysticism of the Force,
Mhm.
and I appreciate what this movie kind of does with it without like getting too explanation-y with
Yeah,
it. Like
for
it's
sure.
just, love seeing Force trees and ancient Jedi texts and Sith pits.
That was kind of Harry Pottery. With
Sith pits? It was like Sith pits?
It's very parcel tongue.
He's like, don't touch that.
I love this exchange so much.
Remember the subverting the I'll be the last of the Jedi, and it was this shot of Luke in the doorway for the trailer.
Oh, it's time for the Jedi to end.
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone was like,
Gave me chills. You're like, what?
It's interesting how he says Jedi religion.
Yeah, well, I think that goes into place with his viewpoint of how they fell, is that like to him, the books are of the belief and the following of the Jedi.
Right.
But he understands that, like, obviously he talks about, the Jedi's got so involved in their
it's pretty
hubris
much
that,
nowhere.
that he like separates it. And I think that's what drives him away, is that he wants to believe in the old aspect of it, but there is no current or modern like take of how to be that. And Luke isn't necessarily someone who can figure that out on his own, which kind of involves the scene with Yoda later, is that Yoda's telling him it doesn't matter of which, is that being the Jedi is quote, being the Jedi, rather, without getting too, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I almost feel like it's not really as much like, I feel like it's almost he is kind of wanting to get away from the old ways of the Jedi, because he explains with Rey how like the Jedi were selfish and like they're the reason the Republic fell.
Yeah.
And all that kind of thing. So like I feel like he's really conflicted about just like the Jedi and like their place in the galaxy.
Yeah. He can't grasp with the Jedi being like a political power that they kind of were when the Republic was around.
Right.
And that's kind of all he's been told and knows of. So when he goes to investigate more and he finds out that there is this, deeper and more force driven, I bet you Luke would have loved being a Wayseeker. Rather than like a Jedi, someone who's just going for the knowledge. And I think it's because he expected the Jedi Order to be all about that style of, using the Force and for knowledge and whatnot. And instead it ended up being what it was of, Revenge of the Sith times. And he's kind of like, why did this happen? And it discourages him from wanting to continue on.
Sure. Love that line.
Yeah, I honestly, the Poe B plot in this, the Poe and Finn B plot, I'm not crazy about, but I think Carrie, like,
I think it gives Poe a chance to develop a lot.
Yes, and I like seeing Poe's development in this because it's a different side of Poe of what you see before. But I think Leia is such an important aspect of that plot of it, and that her not even being in it that much is what I think kind of drives it even more.
Yeah.
I love Snoke's ship. I want that as like a model.
That'd be
like
cool.
a little like shelf model.
Yeah. There's JJ.
There's JJ. I'm gonna tell him about that.
Now, here's one thing I want to say that I'm not sure if you know. You probably do, but just for anybody listening who doesn't know, they foreshadow this in Rogue One.
Yeah, they do. They mention it.
They mention it whenever she's in like the library thing, going through all like the flash discs or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Just like blah blah blah. Dark saber, light speed tracking. Like they just like skim
just
over
throw
it.
it out there,
and it's just like, okay.
Well, it's interesting how much the First Order was able to salvage from Empire remnants, you know, like Scarif was obviously destroyed. So where else did the Empire keep that kind of information that the First Order was able to get it, you know?
Right. I love Kylo's ship in this.
Yeah, I agree. Is this the same one as in Rise of Skywalker as well, or he gets a new one, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I think this was called like the TIE Finalizer or something. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong.
I always dug like TIE Fighter names or like Star Destroyer names. Killer.
Man, the sound design is so great.
Yeah, this movie never really does let up about just the intensity of it, you know.
It's really, just go, go, go.
Just is this
you don't even get a chance to stop and breathe.
Yeah.
Fall back. A really important moment coming up here. A kind of defining moment for Kylo's character. Here it is. He feels his mother. They connect through the Force. I love that Ryan chose to kind of have everybody in the background in slow motion.
Yeah.
She's kind of frozen in time.
Oh, and just the hesitation.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't do it.
Can't do it.
And I think that also speaks to his redemption in the Rise of Skywalker.
Well, does he ever know that I guess until she does actually die in Rise of Skywalker, does Kylo ever know that she survives this?
I've never thought about that. Is there anything in this movie that like confirms that she's alive?
Maybe there's a line later, but I don't know if he ever confirms it.
Yeah, I never thought about that before. I always just kind of assumed that whenever we found out that she was still alive, everybody found out.
Interesting to think that Kylo proved himself wrong, but I almost think it's because he didn't do it. He felt as though like it wasn't proper for him to fully go to the dark side, like it was taken from him.
Right, yeah. This is a moment that like moves me.
I always kind of think she looks like Mary Poppins when it happens.
Yes.
But
Mary Poppins, y'all.
But like I loved
oh my
how it
God,
happened,
this is such a magical moment for me. Like the music.
Well, and I like knowing too that like
this is the first time we ever see her using the Force.
I like knowing that she's obviously trained with Luke.
Look at
and
that
she's,
shot.
Probably got some skills with the lightsaber and stuff. So how much on her own has she mastered herself with the Force? And obviously good enough that, she can control herself. A little bit of
foreshadowing right here. A little bit of foreshadowing. Dreadnought sliced in half. But man,
the Haldo
gives me the chills.
Let's call it the Leia maneuver.
That's right. That moment gives me the chills every time. I that takes some balls to just to
That
to
power.
write that.
Yeah.
Like for Ryan to be like, you know what, Leia's gonna float through space and then fly back to her ship using the Force.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Right.
I remember there being a big discussion before this movie came out if porgs were edible.
And I'm glad that this movie addresses it. I don't know, Chewie. Hold on. You know what? I don't know, porgs. You kind of watched the Wookiee like cook your friend the whole time. You can't like.
Oh,
you can't do that now.
Chewie's like, go away so I can eat my food. Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore.
This is an emotional moment.
I kind of wish they had porgs at Galaxy's Edge.
That'd be cool. Just seeing Luke back on the Falcon for the first time.
Isn't there a deleted scene?
I'm getting chills.
That's one of my favorites. Is there a scene where Kylo gets on the Falcon?
Deleted scene from Force Awakens.
It's from Force Awakens. Okay.
That's Ryan Johnson's hand, by the way. Fun fact.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They had to do a really quick pickup shot.
I bought Hans dice at Galaxy's Edge, and I have them hanging over my.
Dude.
They're over my rear view mirror in my car.
I think this line he's about to say is, that is him immediately channeling 1977 Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
R2?
Yeah, that's that excited like sand planet boy, you know.
Yeah. The way he says, watch the language.
Like there's just like everything that he's been worried about and has been hiding about, like it was gone in that R2 in that first one, you know. Except this.
Except your sister. In his reaction, can we just take a second to appreciate again Mark Hamill's performance in this movie? Because imagine if it was like an Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull Harrison Ford performance, where it's just like
kind of phoned it in.
They gave him a really big paycheck and he's like, oh, fine.
Yeah.
You know?
But he
really, like, you can tell he's putting his heart into this.
Props to him for putting his heart in it when knowing that he didn't fully agree with the decisions that were being made.
And that's because he's a professional. He's he's a great guy. Here's the introduction of Holdo. What do you think? I know what you're about to say.
I forgot about this.
They didn't really make any kind of a deal about Admiral Akbar's death.
About it.
Besides Admiral Akbar, the whole crew, they're all gone.
He's gone too.
Yeah.
Props to Akbar for surviving this long. So I know you haven't read any of the original Thrawn trilogy, but Akbar is he's got like a really interesting B plot in Heir to the Empire that I think they'll build on more, but he's more of like a political figure in it, and his like purpose about redistributing, you know, how the New Republic works. But I think that's interesting that like they just kind of take him off.
1 second, everybody. I'm gonna just.
Okay. You can lean back if you want, but we'll
Jackson, keep talking.
Yeah. Braydon leaned back and it eschewed our projector. And is that the same? What's that race called? The Celestin. Is that the same Celestin as that hung out with Lando? I don't know how Celestins age, you know. Okay, I'm gonna hold your back wires. There you
Thanks,
go.
dude. I mean, that would be cool if they did. Like,
he's got my favorite return. Yeah.
Are you talking about Nien Nub?
Yes.
No. Well, actually, is this Nien Nub?
I don't know. Okay, you're good.
I think it actually might be.
Okay, you're good. Captain. You're like, all right, Laura Dern, I didn't need to didn't need to be reminded.
I feel like
What did you do? Didn't you open up an entire park full of dinosaurs?
I feel like this is kind of. I feel like Leia and Holdo have kind of talked about Poe before this whole thing happened.
Well, they're girlies, you know. They get brunch together.
Yeah, and I feel like this whole thing is it's almost like a test for Poe.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
If I let flyboys like you control the, I think this is kind of her way of being like, let's see how you handle this.
Well, to be someone else of authority who will use it against him, because everybody else understands that Poe's good enough to kind of give him that hero's respect, but Leia's the only one who gets it.
Right.
Whereas now it's Holdo. It's like there are more than one people who care more than just the mission.
Yeah. Introduction of Rose. There she is.
Hey.
Finn. Just breathe.
Look, I'm not a resistance hero.
Sorry, guys. We keep getting tangled up in our wires.
We're cuddling each other.
We're cuddling each other.
In the video.
For audio listeners, don't worry. We are cuddling. What do you think about Rose being kind of like this Resistance fangirl at first?
I like seeing the everyman.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting that like everybody in the Resistance doesn't just like automatically like know each other.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Finn is like this story and myth of like this, stormtrooper who broke off and joined the Resistance, and like they've just heard about it. They haven't really met him.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's off doing something. You know he's a Resistance hero.
She has strict orders.
She kills him.
She just absolutely demolishes him.
I wish Finn was like how he is in Rise of Skywalker in this movie. I think Finn's a little more serious in this movie, which isn't a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying more that Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker match his character type. Like those two those two movies kind of match on how he is. Whereas this one, he's very, well, and I think too, it's interesting that Finn's still kind of like, quote, on the run. Like he's still trying to get out of all of it when
it is easy to forget about that in this movie.
Yeah.
I love their dynamic, like in most of this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's just really fun.
CPO just like abruptly turning. What?
I believe this was one of the first scenes they shot of the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah. Fun fact. I was escaping.
Luck that I shocked him.
I love Poe's kind of like dependency on Leia.
Yeah. Well,
And it gives him a chance to kind of grow into his own.
Love their relationship
Yeah.
of, the mentor and mentee, and just I like knowing that Leia still so strongly inspires people that, you read like Bloodline, it's like there isn't even a lick of mention of Poe in it. It's like they didn't need this long relationship or
I think Poe is probably still pretty young at the time of Bloodline.
For sure. But I guess what I'm saying is that like Leia's I wish she was in this more. Chillin'. She's in the High Republic comics. And,
I forgot she's like 1,000 years old.
She's got a friend who is an Embo Jedi, and they're like old grandmas who like share tea.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, "Are we gonna go defend the castle today?" And it's like, we are.
For a second, the first time I saw this, I thought that the Codebreaker was going to be Lando.
That would have been cool.
Yes. The Star Wars fandom dreaded Canto Bite.
Fake Vegas.
Star Wars Vegas.
Star Wars Vegas. There's a Canto Bite book.
Yeah. It's literally called Canto Bite.
Really?
It came out a couple of months before. I think like October 2017.
I know. I need to delve more into my canon books. I'm gonna crush my fallen star, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, dude, I need to just spend maybe this weekend and just get through it.
Yeah.
Because I really want to read it. I just haven't had the time. Here we go. First time for Skype.
For Skype. This is my last note of High Republic, but I caught up on the comics up to Fallen Star, and I think so many people are gonna die in that book. I'm a little worried about it. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Feel my thoughts? I feel your thoughts. And then it's Rey terrorizing these poor village people.
I know. The caretakers. The way he like floats off that chair is concerning.
His sliding
with his little feetsies. I think Kylo Ren would be a good, or not Kylo Ren. I think Adam Driver would be a good Severus Snape in a modern day Harry Potter.
He'd still be a good young Severus Snape too. I always liked how they shot these for Skype.
Very creative. I think the first time I saw this movie, I didn't quite understand. I didn't quite catch on for some reason that Snoke was the one doing this. Like how we learned at the end that it was Snoke that bridged their minds. I didn't quite understand that. And then, how in like The Rise of Skywalker, we realized that it's actually because they're a dyad in the Force.
Yeah.
They're actually connected through the Force.
So, do you think it was a power that they could have found naturally, but Snoke was able to
I think so.
Show it to them? He's able to connect the dots, but they could have done it themselves.
Well, because, Palpatine kind of made Snoke.
Yeah.
And I think Palpatine kind of knew that they were a dyad in the Force.
Yeah.
Like sensed that there was like a connection between them and bridged them.
I hope that they explain more about, I think the Vader comics are going into this. I know the Vader comics have kind of started dealing with the Exegol stuff, but I either hope or want there to be an explanation about like how Palpatine and Snoke like kind of figured out like what put Snoke into power. And I guess my question is, do you think that Palpatine kind of pre-programmed Snoke, since he's technically like a clone that was grown. He kind of preset him with like Order 66 style inhibitor chips that like there are specific things that Snoke has to do in order for the plan to work, and one of them like that is connecting Kylo and Rey to where, you know, their relationship changes a little bit more in the effort, because I think Palpatine thinks that Kylo could turn Rey.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's kind of all that master plan. You know, my question is, what was Palpatine's master plan with this era, you know?
Yeah. I think he would have loved for Rey and Kylo to team up against the Resistance and against the rest of the galaxy.
Right.
I don't know why. He like doesn't he realize that he's in a Star Wars movie? I mean, come on. Never gonna happen. Love this whole scene.
I appreciate that they go back to explaining the Force as like the energy all around rather than the scientific midichlorians of
it. I love this.
I feel something. That's the Force.
This is such a Mark Hamill moment.
Bet you they became best friends during this movie.
But that is such a Mark Hamill moment.
Oh yeah, that's the Force. Yeah, I bet you the two of them hung out all the time. Oh, yeah. I almost would think Rian Johnson would like make them, you know, her and Mark compared to Poe and Leia.
Yeah. These are so, like, these kind of shots are so groundbreaking for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because you don't get this kind of, like, weird montage-y, you know, editing. And, like, a visualization of feeling the Force.
Yeah.
Love the music cue.
Man, she said the thing.
I love the music cue when she says a Force.
Sith Pit. Sith Pit's kind of a cool band name.
Mm-hmm.
Sith Pit. It's a cool band name.
Yeah. It's like a yacht rock band.
Tatooine Rhapsody.
And I think here Luke is like, oh my God, I just started it again.
He's like,
another one. This is such a unique shot. Oh my gosh. Remember that opening shot of the first teaser?
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie also says a lot about like trauma and how it can affect someone's like entire outlook on life.
Yeah. And just, yeah.
Yeah. I just love the idea of a broken Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it really is. I never took it as being bad or wrong, you know. It was like
of course.
It's so different that it was just like you're almost like heartbroken. Like how could that happen, you know?
Yeah. And I could not disagree more with the people that are like, well, the Luke Skywalker that I know from Return of the Jedi would never have done that. It's but like, the Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi like was Luke Skywalker 30 years ago.
Yeah, like
that's like saying like
it's been a lot that's happened.
That's like not, meeting somebody when they're 12 years old and then not seeing them again until they're like 40.
Right.
And being like, you've changed, haven't you?
Yeah, the exact same person.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I asked you a question.
That's not what I asked.
He's like, you're just.
Now, do you have any Pokemon cards? Kylo just like the only reason he's trying to like connect with her is because he wants to trade Pokemon
she's got
cards.
Like a holographic Charizard on the old AT-AT back on Jakku, and he's like, I have to.
Did you brought it with you, didn't you?
You have it, don't you? It's hidden in the lightsaber. I love this. I am. Gun to my head, if I could only take one thing out of all of these movies, it would just be Adam Driver.
Just
like
him.
It would just be Ben Solo and Kylo. Like, love that. He feels the water on his face.
Yeah. And I love that little tiny moment becomes so crucial later on in the movie.
Yeah.
Like it sets up something that it becomes so crucial. When you watch this by yourself, do you kind of fast forward through the Canto Bight stuff?
I don't fast forward, but I zone out.
You kind of zone out. I've come to appreciate it. I feel like it's making the galaxy bigger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I like seeing always the world building of it. I like kind of the purpose.
That's Dubrovnik, Croatia, by the way. I've been there.
Oh, that's cool. I appreciate kind of the moral theme of the Canto Bight plot of that.
Yeah.
Like everybody's involved. It doesn't matter good or bad. There's
love and this shot right here.
Oh yeah. It's the wings shot.
Yeah.
I just learned to more kind of be like, all right, like the Canto Bight like aspect of it isn't necessarily a huge enjoyment part of it, but like I think its moral lesson is so important.
It shows you a side of the galaxy that we've never seen before, like the kind of rich manufacturers of the war.
Well, and it does a good job at the sequel trilogy theme of neutrality. Of how there is a middle ground for literally everything.
Yeah.
And this plot is showing you that other everything of it.
Just in it for the money. That's Mark Hamill, by the way.
Bleh.
I love that.
Look for Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
Justin Theroux was married to Jennifer Aniston. And he's the master code breaker.
That's right.
Could you imagine if she was in this movie, actually?
That'd be really funny. That'd be really funny. So Father Years. What are your thoughts on Father Years?
I like seeing new animals. I always like seeing new Star Wars animals. I always think it's cool. Different things here and there. I don't know. Nothing really stands out to me. It's
they feel very like this whole thing kind of feels very Harry Potter to me. Like kind of Fantastic Beastsy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
There's Broom Boy.
That's Mark Hamill as well.
Are they really?
No.
I was like,
so good.
Wait, do you know something that I don't know?
No, nothing. I bet the boy.
And I love that it's revealed that they're also selling weapons to the Resistance.
Yeah. BB-8, did you commit grand larceny?
Did you go to like the St. Louis County like mugshots?
Look, there's Jennifer Aniston.
Go to STL mugshots and there's BB-8.
Case finder.
Yeah. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, by the way.
Really?
It really is, yeah. Yep, those are the shuttle parkers. I'm on a roll. Man, Jennifer Aniston looks weird in this one, dude.
BB-8 getting thrown around this movie a lot.
Poor BB-8, dude.
Poor BB-8, dude. He didn't. Sand can't be good for a droid. Or internal coins.
Say neither can coins. Republic credits.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's so dumb they never gave Rey a double-bladed lightsaber. They just hinted at it the whole time.
You ever read Duel of the Fates?
I started reading the comic, and I know she gets it in that.
Yeah, that's.
But like, still,
they set it up for it, and Colin Trevorrow was about to capitalize on it, and JJ was like, "Eh."
Why? Yeah, well, like, why did JJ think not? Even if you were gonna have the same scene with the yellow lightsaber, just have it be double bladed. You know. I do know in this movie, in like the little backdrops of stuff, there's a scene where you could see she's working on the saber.
Really?
There's a shot. I don't remember exactly when it is, but there's a shot where.
Hold on, this is really important. Sorry, I love that.
It's a look down.
I love it. So good.
Sorry.
Hope you find your dad.
There's a shot where the like hilt of it is like being constructed. Yeah.
This is such an important scene. It really breaks down like Luke Skywalker's current view on the Jedi itself. First time we hear him say Darth Sidious, really cool.
It's like, yeah, but I was his kid.
Yeah,
so
but
I use the power of family. I need to read The Rise of Kylo Ren.
I read like a couple issues.
They've been doing more with the Knights of Ren in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ren's like a big character in the Crimson Reign comics right now.
Oh, okay. And this is super important to like why Luke is the way he is now too.
And I really appreciate that Luke's whole kind of journey from Ben to now is done with his nephew.
First ever flashback in Star Wars.
Ever? Really?
Yep.
That's interesting. I just think it's interesting that like all of this is done. And I think, everyone's like, oh, like these characters are, Luke and Leia. It's Luke's kid and Leia's kid, or it's this kid, it's this kid. It's like, I like seeing Luke's personal trouble and struggle and torment done with his nephew.
Yeah.
Like it shows that he cares for everyone all around rather than kind of just the immediate sense of just being his own child. Luke didn't need that in order to still let it fall apart.
And I love how in this movie they let us hear first Luke's version of the truth and then Kylo's version of the truth.
Yeah, and then
what actually happened. I love that so much. It's so interesting.
And I like how each story only has minor differences that change it completely up,
And like it's such a vital like little detail.
Yeah.
Like Kylo saw evil in Luke, but Luke saw evil in Kylo.
Of it.
Really quick bathroom break here. Jackson, entertain our guests, please. Thank you.
if you're watching along with us, rip these people, they're about to blow up. This is the medical frigate, which, you know, watching this, I always thought about that and be like, that just sucks. Like, rip all those people. Captain's always going to go down with their ship. Godspeed, rebels. You know, let's talk about that. I appreciate that the Resistance. Here's my appreciation and what's grown with the Resistance is the first time I've seen these movies, I was just kind of like, I didn't understand that the Resistance weren't the New Republic, that the New Republic literally let themselves get destroyed on Osnian Prime with the first movie, you know, with Force Awakens and Starkiller Base. And I love seeing the Resistance be a mix of people who have been inspired themselves, especially through people like Leia and like Akbar, and I would assume like Holdo and all of that, inspired themselves to go off and break away from the government that they're trying to build and fix to help defend it. It becomes not it's the evil government trying to stop everyone. It becomes this is a threat in the galaxy that we have to protect everyone from. It doesn't matter about sorry, Benicio del Toro's talking, and you just gotta love that man. Y'all ever seen Sicario? That's a good movie. But I love how the Resistance is a mix of people who are newly inspired by wanting to protect the galaxy to people who are old rebels who are kind of like, gotta go, where's my super suit? Gotta go back into it. And Braydon's back. He's dancing in front of me. He's grabbing another beer. He's doing a little Irish jig.
Making a lot of sound in the background.
Clink, 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 clink. We're going to get some ASMR. Oh, now he's tap dancing. He's doing My Fair Lady. He's going to be playing all parts of it. I was very mixed bag about Benicio del Toro's character in this. I really wanted him to be Boba Fett. When this movie was first coming out, I thought Benicio was going to be Boba Fett or, you know, was going to be more. But I think what I really liked a lot about it is the creativity of what he gave, you know, like I love his stutter. Like, I thought that was really cool. And I thought he did a good job at creating a very interesting character who doesn't really need to be in this movie.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that it was a him thing that came up with the stutter.
Oh, I completely agree. Little character choice that he did.
Yeah, and Ryan was just like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like they kept him so like weirdly secretive and like in the promotion of this movie.
Yeah, and
because everyone knew he was in
role,
it.
Yeah,
so like everyone expected him to have like this big like dark Sith role or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like this guy who like happens to know how to break into things, which I enjoy DJ as a character.
Yeah, I do too. But could you imagine if it was Boba Fett?
I'd be like, whoa, hold on.
Like, that's not Tem.
That's not Tem.
Horsies?
Broom boy.
You think Rian Johnson's trilogy is going to be about Broom Boy?
At this point, are we even getting a Rian Johnson trilogy anymore?
Better question. Do you want it to be about Broom Boy?
Nah.
Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
I think Broom Boy is more symbolic than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
I love the design of the guards on Canto Bight.
I was
with like the samurai helmets.
I was kind of thinking of like I like the samurai style with just Star Wars helmets, you know.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it.
I also love that the Fathiers get away and
I
get
like
back
this
to like
song.
their.
I always like the music in this scene.
Oh yeah.
Now Marine Ronin more, and the Jedi in it wear samurai armor. Like the lord,
Oh,
so
cool.
the knights wear like the normal robes, but the lords wear like samurai armor, and they
Oh,
have
cool.
like the helmets like that. I forget that. I'm kind of surprised that we're already like at the end of the Canto Bite scene. I felt like it was a little
Yeah. That's why it doesn't
longer.
really bother me. Because like it's not like it takes up an entire third
Yeah.
of the movie or anything. Like they're there for 10 minutes, fine, and you
Get
move
in,
on.
get out. Yeah.
So if you're one that doesn't really like it, you don't have to spend that much time with it. I've actually been on this street in real life.
Where is it at?
It's in Dubrovnik, Croatia.
That's cool.
We were there like I think we went in like summer 2017. So it would have been like about a year after they shot there.
Yeah. The post Star Wars.
I just realized that Canto Bight has like 2 moons.
Where is it in the galaxy?
I'm not really sure. It might be
mid-rim
Outer
or
Rim.
is it?
It might be mid-rim. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and find a map.
Yeah, I love that the father years get away.
Do you care if you hook up Wi-Fi real quick?
Oh man, I don't know my password
Okay, then never
by
mind.
heart. It's like a weird.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got it. All right, I'm gonna try and find.
The needle lift. And I love how Finn's whole perspective on this is like is that he doesn't like all the people because they sell weapons to the First Order. And how like that realization kind of turns when he realizes they also sell weapons to the Resistance.
Yeah.
No, he's not flying.
This is a big map. This is hard to figure this out. Need a lift?
Needle lift?
I feel like DJ would. DJ's the guy who did the Digimon. It's time to
Oh, that's right.
duel.
He did. I remember that. Yeah, he did do that.
He did that.
He did that. I love this. Luke reaching out to Leia and finally getting back in tune with the Force for the first time in however many years to reach out to his sister.
Yeah, I love
Such a
how
wonderful moment.
Leia is always the point for Luke. Like that is always the
It's always what ends up making him cave.
yeah. All right, hold up. Where is Canto Bite?
Luke.
Yeah. Canto Bite isn't the planet, it's the city name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that changes things. Cantonica. Yeah, me neither.
Oh no. Shirtless Ben Solo.
Oh, it's literally it's so all right. So
he's
it's
built like a refrigerator.
It's opposite of the outer rim, but it is the outermost planet
Gotcha.
closest to the mid and
Cool.
inner
Yeah.
rim. It's by Felucia and Lothal.
Gotcha.
Interesting that Tatooine.
Why'd you kill him? Sobs in all caps.
They didn't. be kind of right, though. No. What's that shoulder scar from?
It's from the
Is that
Force Awakens. I just bumped the mic. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. See, I love that this is Kylo's version
And
of
it's
the
like
truth.
seeing Luke like this.
Because that's probably like, he's not lying.
Yeah.
That's just how he viewed it. Like, that's
Yeah.
how he saw it happen. Kill it.
I really like this this like thing that like this let the past die with
Yeah.
Kylo. I love how that's like his goal.
Which is not the lesson of the movie, by the way.
No, and I like that it's what he thinks will solve everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of goes with, I bet you, because he probably doesn't know if Leia's alive or not. So he is trying to, since it was out of his control of her quote unquote death, he's trying to just let everything go because he understands that things can't happen within fully your control. But he's conflicted about it, obviously. He's so mixed about it. Sith
and this is
Pit.
kind of Rey's
Sith Pit.
kind of Rey's Dagobah cave.
It's like
moment.
she fell in that like Jack Skellington falls in the Christmas store. What's this? What's this? There's evil everywhere. The first time I saw this in theaters, I was actually kind of scared. I didn't know what was I had no idea what was going to happen, you know.
I thought it was going to be Han and Leia in their reflection. Because you know how like she goes up like, showing my parents and like two figures start coming up. This is very Spider-Man No Way Home before, not No Way Home. This is very Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
Before Spider-Man Far From Home.
This is very Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I always love seeing the visualization of the mysticism of the Force.
Yeah.
I love when Star Wars does that. Rebels is big about that. That's why I love a lot of Rebels like that.
Especially like the world between worlds kind of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
I love how we discover that this VO is her talking to Ben, not Luke.
I know.
So good.
I know.
Such a good detail.
What if it was Darth Vader?
Be like, wait, this doesn't make any biological sense.
What? She's like, well, that's stupid.
I feel like
now I'm angry and confused.
Yeah, and I feel like the Force kind of knows that this isn't the place, or like it's not important for Rey to know her. Like for her journey, it's not important for her to know.
I have a different mindset about that. This is the Force allowing Rey and Ben to either choose which side that they want, but it is using the aspect that they individually would have the most. Whereas I think Kylo would be more strong. And let's say they both are dark side. Kylo would be anger, whereas Rey would be fear. Does that make sense? And that's more kind of what it's trying to manipulate is advancing those powers, but it's up to them on which side they want to try and advance. So there's light side aspects as well.
Yeah.
But the cave is trying to like build and manifest off of that fear and anger about it and raise.
I would agree with that. I just feel like
I agree with you that like Rey doesn't need to know. Rey doesn't need to know
and I feel
at
like
all.
the Force is much more alive than we think.
Yes.
I think, the Force has kind of this all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
And just kind of knew, hey, you know what? Maybe now is not the time.
That was always a cool shot.
Such a cool shot. That was practical too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Throwing the bricks around? That's cool.
Each brick was like tied to a string.
And
it was a 3, 2, 1 go. And there was like I think it was something that like pulled the strings out and all the bricks flew out. Such an important moment.
Yeah, this is a great fight.
Yeah.
And I love seeing fights in Star Wars that are not lightsaber fights, that are between lightsaber fighting people.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, he's like, easy.
Remember in the trailer when they reversed that shot to it was her bringing the lightsaber up? And here is the actual truth.
Is that, I guess I need to read the comic to more explain, but is that like what he wants to be doing? He wants to be out slaughtering people?
It's kind of a foreshadowing.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of seeing. That's why he's so scared, because he's kind of seeing what's to come.
Consequence. Love that.
I love how he immediately knew in that, like, that is the moment he failed him right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love how we get that sense of naivete from Rey in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, to her, it's all about, like, the war.
Yeah,
and Luke understands.
And it's also kind of just like, yeah, but he can change, right?
Yeah.
You know?
It's not, yeah.
Accidentally nikes it. So sorry.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. She gave him a look like, you know, the Simpsons Skinner meme where he goes, pathetic.
Oh,
she gave him that look.
Why does it look like Mark Hamill got like some brown hair dye for that shot?
How's he so dry already?
I know. I think this is like, oh, here we go. One of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
This is such a good fit too, like Jedi Master Luke.
Oh my! The way I squealed in the theater when I saw Yoda.
I know, I did too.
Master Yoda. Oh, chills, dude.
And they got Oz for it, right?
Oh yeah,
and
it's puppet too. It's not CG.
It's not CG?
It's not CG. Like, obviously the blue glow is, but the puppet itself.
I thought it was. I thought they just tried to kind of make the puppet look CG.
No, Frank Oz.
I think the blue glow then makes it look like it's all CG.
Yeah. And the fact that he's going to burn it all down, and he has this second thought, and then when Yoda does it, he's like, but the sacred Jedi text, like he realizes the error of his ways.
Page turners, were they?
He's like, but I wasn't gonna do it like that.
I think this might be my favorite scene in this movie, actually, is their conversation.
This is one of my favorite scenes in the saga.
Yeah.
I think in my head canon, I like to think that him and Yoda talk quite a bit.
I think the opposite, actually.
Well, I mean, obviously before the island incident.
Oh, the sacred Jedi texts.
Page turners, they were not.
I think Luke talked to Ben more than Yoda. And even then, I don't think Luke talked to the spirits that much at all. They only show when they needed to, and the reason they showed themselves.
You're talking before Island, right? Before Island, Luke? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
They only present themselves when Luke needed it, and that's why they're in it a lot, is because Luke needed them a lot. But like, even with this, that turn of the Master Yoda is Luke kind of being like, you being here is important, meaning, you know, there's it's probably good that I stopped. And then Yoda obviously super shocks the tree.
Here comes one of the greatest themes of this movie. Boom. So good, dude.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on me.
It's like the whole theme of kind of like the necessity of failure.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and learning to learn and still teach on, you know, to experience failure.
With the knowledge that they're going to grow into something bigger and better than you will be. Yeah. But like, that's a privilege. That's not something that you like, that you're just like sad about. And like, that's a good thing.
To still be able to be a leader and a quote master and a teacher while also still experiencing failure throughout your time in life. And
imagine how like conflicting that would be in real life of like, I'm teaching all these people and like I know more than these people, but they're going to end up growing to be bigger and better than I
ever was.
Right. Yeah.
Do it.
I don't think we've taken much time to talk about Rose and her relationship with her sister. Because, like, that's kind of like a big moment of her finally...
That's kind of what I was saying earlier, was that I wish there was more Rose and Paige content.
But, like, her finally giving away this, like, medallion thing.
It would almost be better if we first met Rose and Paige together.
Yeah.
And then Paige dies, you know? Like, have Paige's death be a little later in the movie. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Let me learn you something big. That is such a Benicio del Toro line.
I almost wonder if all of his lines were kind of improvised. Like he just had like a topic to talk about.
DJ means don't join, by the way.
Is that true?
True.
Really?
Yeah. See, by the time it got to like this point in the movie, when the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this thing's almost over, isn't it?" And little did I know.
I'm not crazy about Laura Dern's performance in this movie.
I love that quote though that she just said.
Oh, I agree, and I think that her physical acting is pretty good. I don't like how she delivers a lot of her lines, and that kind of goes with the story of she says pew pew when she fires the gun in Poe.
Yeah.
I think for her is that she thinks this whole time that like I'm in a Star Wars movie, so all of her lines are kind of said with this, this sense of passion behind
this
it.
very thespian.
Yes, yeah. And like there's a time and a place for that, and this movie isn't one of those Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying like I don't
know if it's something that I've really took the time to think about.
Yeah.
But the line that she has where hope is like the sun, if you only believe in it when you see it, then it'll always be night or something like that. I love that.
The sacred Jedi texts.
They make a point to show that she took the Jedi texts.
Yeah.
But it took me like 3 viewings to realize like, oh, she did take them.
Yeah. Well, and they really don't even like explain in Rise of Skywalker.
I love the coffin escape pod.
Yeah.
On the Falcon.
That they are the Jedi texts,
Yeah.
like they're just kind of like books that she has, and you're like, oh no, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something I actually like in this movie is that they use a lot of visual telling rather than like
a lot of show don't tell.
Right. Yeah, and I appreciate that when it comes to filmmaking.
Mm-hmm. I've always said that like this kind of feels like this Star Wars movie feels like a really, really good like indie film. Like a really, really good like festival film.
How so? Elaborate on that.
So I think in the approach and the way it was made and the way it deals so deeply with like all of these themes, it kind of reminds me of like something like an A24 film.
Okay. Yeah.
It just gives me that sense when I watch it. And I think that's just Rian Johnson as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like if you watch any of his films, you'll get that vibe.
Thorough with his story and the details within it. Yeah. Do you ever tap a screen just to see if it'll still work?
I think no.
No, you've never.
I don't think I've ever been like, all right,
this thing telling me that somewhere completely elsewhere is malfunctioning. I'll tap this to see if it.
Here comes the mutiny.
Here comes the mutiny.
Here comes the mutiny.
Oh, no.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, you're good. Yoink. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Brr.
Hardware Wars reference.
This is the best shot.
I love that they have laundry.
In Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can go to this room.
Can you?
Yeah, and there's a Matt the radar technician outfit.
Oh my god, is there really?
I've
only played like the campaign on Battlefront 2.
There's like pies hidden everywhere. It's like a weird dice thing that they hide pies everywhere, but there's a pie in that room as well. There's been a little BB-90 stuffed doll at Goodwill, and I've been thinking about getting it.
You should just pick it up.
I kind of want to give it to you.
I'll take it.
I feel like you're the only one who would enjoy it.
Oh, I'll take it, dude. I'll take a BB-90. Dude, first time I saw this, I was like, dude, they're going to kiss in the elevator, aren't they?
Kiss so hard. I love how her calling him Ben is what breaks him out of his concentration.
How'd you know they call me that?
Who?
I was like, kiss, kiss, kiss,
I
kiss, kiss.
I always thought it was funny how Kylo pretty much understands and knows that like he was Ben Solo. Like
Yeah.
he's more like that guy's dead, whereas like Darth Vader literally could not tell the difference that he was a different person.
Yeah.
Like he just, was so convinced. Hey.
How y'all doing?
I love his throne room.
I love Rey's wardrobe in this. Like her Jedi getup.
Yeah.
Her gray Jedi getup. I love this as well. How the only reason he wanted that was to break into the door.
Great conduit.
And then gives it back.
Yeah.
She thought she gave that up for good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just also like speaks to like how much she's willing to sacrifice for the survival of the Resistance as well.
Benicio del Toro kills me in this movie.
What? Yeah.
His little...
How many takes do you think that took?
It's like, do you ever see Skywalker versus the World?
Yeah.
When he throws the package behind him. Yeah, we spoke. I'm glad Rise of Skywalker gives 3PO the proper content that he needed.
I feel like 3PO kind of takes the back seat in this movie.
Yeah, I thought that earlier too.
I've never been like the biggest like 3PO guy. Like I do appreciate and enjoy 3PO, but I've never been like, man, we need some more 3PO content.
Truth be told, I was the same until Rise of Skywalker. And I think
so?
it's funny that Rise of Skywalker was the movie that made me change my opinion on 3PO. But 3PO is so damn funny in that movie.
I know. He is the
probably
star.
One of the best parts of that entire movie.
Yeah. There's a really funny deleted scene from The Last Jedi. And like it's like during this kind of scene, and Tom Hardy makes a cameo, and he plays a country stormtrooper.
Oh no!
He's like, "Woo, FA 2187."
Oh no!
Didn't think I'd see you being an officer or something like that. It's really funny.
Oh, I know what you're talking. That's Tom Hardy.
That's Tom Hardy. Yeah. Like, yoo-hoo! Evil BB-8. Emo BB-8. There she is. Chrome bitch. And now we're getting to like almost to like the all hope is lost portion of the movie.
I love how a stun blast just like launches you.
Yeah.
Compared to A New Hope where it just drops Leia.
She literally just falls gracefully. That one's a little silly goose.
Honestly, I'd be down for like a Leia Holdo book,
Holdo's in Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. Yeah. That was her first introduction.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out.
And it's Claudia Gray, too. We love her Claudia.
I knew that. They dated. They kissed once.
Carrie Fisher wrote that line. Carrie Fisher wrote the whole, like, you go, I've said it enough thing.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic writer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever read her book, The Princess Diarist.
No, but I know of it.
It's like a autobiography about like her time like kind of her affair with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, because didn't that come out right before or after she passed?
It came out after, but she wrote it. Like she had finished it like right before she died.
Oh, yeah.
And light to meet it. Andy Serkis is such a powerhouse.
Yeah, he really is. He he always gives his circussy when he does his roles.
What?
He gives he puts his circussy in it.
Oh my god. Stop. The Snakusi.
The circussy. The Andy circussy. Does he have a social media? I want to tell him I said that. Hey, Andy Serkis, big fan. Love you in the monkey movies.
Big fan.
What? Which monkey performance do you prefer from Andy Serkis? Snoke or Gollum?
Did you say which monkey performance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
No, but if that's a serious question, Snoke or Gollum, obviously Gollum.
Yes. As for the monkey question,
I've never seen any of the Apes movies. Really?
Braydon.
I know.
Honestly, you'd love them.
I think so too.
Rise is the one that's kind of like, it's good, but it's like very much the introductory. But Dawn slaps.
Really?
Dawn's so good. And War's a mixed bag. I've only seen War once. No, but they're good. Crate is one of my favorite maps in Battlefront 2. It's so pretty.
Really?
Because, like, if you play it on, like, the, like, Galactic Assault where you get to use the full map, the first half of it is the Walker Assault. And it's, like...
That's cool.
You can be on top, but it's kind of dangerous because you're, like, you can get hit by snipes and whatever.
Yeah.
But then under it, it's all tunnels, and it becomes,
cool.
like, tunnel warfare. Yeah, it's really fun.
I feel like this whole moment with Holdo would like it's super impactful and like it's really great in this movie. I'm wondering if we would have just seen her in The Force Awakens at any point, if it would have made like that much more of an impact.
See her,
like if we would have just gotten to know her a little more.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Or maybe even like more Leia and Holdo scenes together, you know?
And that's not to say that this moment that's about to come up like isn't a groundbreaking
Powerful,
Star Wars moment.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm just wondering like what if? Which is not a really healthy thing to think as a Star Wars fan.
I always like the war business when it comes to Star Wars. Like an Empire Strikes Back, all of the like hallway conversations between Lando and Vader I'm obsessed with that kind of stuff where it's like the casual conversation about like plans and deals and biddings.
Yeah,
and
trying to cut a deal for intel and
yeah, and I love seeing that within Star Wars.
Mhm.
I like that style of whatever.
Ow. That would like break skin.
That's gotta hurt.
Like
Yeah,
that would not
that'd
feel
knock
great.
you out. Here's my question. He's got this big red room that isn't just already a window. I thought that with Return of the Jedi is Palpatine's got like this big glass dome area that he's in, and you still got to look out the little tiny window to see the ships.
Yeah.
And it's always off to the side. That's my favorite. He's like, don't come over here, go over there, and
Remember
look.
when they put that shot in like one of the TV spots of Rey with Kylo's saber? And it's like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, they really did a lot of subverting with this movie.
Yeah.
And
Oh yes, the iconic.
the spin.
I love how Snoke kind of reads Kylo correctly, but incorrectly.
Yeah.
Like from a certain point of view. I think at this moment is when Kylo is kind of like, all right, I know what I got to do.
I think this moment is Kylo really stepping into his full strength of the dark side.
Sure.
He is fulfilling the prophecy of the Sith of, killing his master. And I don't see him killing Snoke as him trying to save Rey.
Yeah.
It's him stepping into that, supreme leader Ren. I didn't actually think he would do it. Seeing the light say return, you're like,
this
no
moment,
way.
the entire theater
like,
audibly gasped.
I know, and you're like, I remember
musical cue.
I went, what?
Favorite shot of the movie, right there.
Yeah,
favorite shot of the movie.
And he falls in half. Yeah,
so great. And the guards are just like, they killed Daddy.
The music and like.
Oh, here it goes, dude.
Love
a lot of people make fun of the action in this. I think it's cool.
It's a little clunky.
It's a little clunky.
It's a little. Did you ever see?
I think it's cool.
The breakdown of the Black Widow fight in the first Avengers movie when she hair flips him, and it's got some of those in it.
It doesn't ruin it for me though.
No, it is quick enough that you can't. I don't really ever spot it watching the movie. It's only when people are slowing it down and pointing it out and stuff. I kind of wish we got more of him.
He's really fun.
Even if it was like a comic,
Yeah.
This is a good fight.
Love that sound design.
It's a brutal fight. I always like the sequel trilogies for being brutal with its violence. Book of Boba Fett's had some moments like that where it's just ruthless.
And I feel like, at this point in time, we're so used to the prequels kind of like Jedi, like over choreographed Jedi lightsaber duels.
Flips in the air and quick sabers.
And this is more like raw feeling.
Clunky. The fight in Force Awakens is like that, where it's just it almost feels like it was unrehearsed,
Yeah. And I feel like this does have some moments of like, oh, that this is so choreographed.
Well, it's
but it's executed so well.
It's, the fighting styles between Kylo and Rey. Like, look at her. She's just swinging it like it's nothing. And he's, doing flips and tricks and much more trained, but he's still, it's realistic and in body weight and movement speed.
And it's funny because at this moment, Kylo and Rey are so sure that they're on each other's sides.
Yeah.
Like, Kylo thinks that she's ready to turn, and she thinks that Kylo's ready to turn.
Yoink. This is my favorite.
Yeah, here it is.
So quick.
First time holding the Skywalker saber on screen. She just immediately assumes that he's all in.
Yeah.
And he sees Snoke cut in half and he's like,
it's not even like remorse. He's not even like fearful of like, he's like,
oh, there's no fear.
It's like, it's not what have I done? It's like, it's now.
Yeah.
The time is now.
And it almost makes me feel like there has been this overarching plan in his head all along of this is how I do this. Which is not the theme of the movie, by the way, everybody. Letting go of the past is not the theme of this movie. Now, this is an interesting moment with the context of Rise of Skywalker.
I hate that he's kind of right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like...
Are they?
It's not like he's wrong.
Yeah. He's just,
it's one of those from a certain point of view.
He's just not completely.
He's not saying your parents are the children of.
He's
Palpatine.
got his facts mixed up.
Yeah.
Like the overall like point of it is correct.
But I also wonder. I mean, obviously, Kylo doesn't know that Rey's a Palpatine until he goes to Exegol.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he just says that, to kind of gaslight Rey into thinking...
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He's trying to trick her into just joining him, and then they'll figure it out in detail later, but...
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'll pull my stuff out.
Here it comes...
I want the Holder maneuver framed. I want that
like a poster.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
He's like, then who's turning it around? See, I would think Hux was treated more as a comedic relief in Rise of Skywalker than in this movie. Especially with how he's just kind of killed off in that movie.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to say it, putting the Skywalker saber back together in Rise of Skywalker is kind of the exact metaphor of JJ turning Trevorrow's script into what it became. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I don't know if it's an intentional metaphor.
No, not intentional. It's kind of like my take of it, but like it's like an ironic fittingness of it. I really wish it stayed broken though. I just thought that was so symbolic of them like
or maybe like using the Kyber crystal in another saber.
Yeah. I just think like the symbolism of it destroying and forcing yourself to start anew rather than, Kylo's take is let the past die, but her take is having to move forward. That's kind of what she learns with Rise of Skywalker is taking what you learned and going on with it.
It's not
But it's like it negates this scene. This is such a strong scene of them splitting it, you know. And
I don't know if it negates the scene because the saber is still destroyed. Oh man! For a split second, I was like, "Wait, did our sound just cut out? What's going on here?" Man. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because, you know, I think the point of this movie, or I guess the kind of theme, really the overarching theme, isn't let the past die and kill it, and you know that kind of thing. It's kind of what you were saying of what Rey kind of learns in the next movie.
Yeah,
is
learn from
embrace the past,
learn everything you've
and
seen,
move forward with
yeah.
what you've learned from the past. It's not kill the past,
which is also Luke's kind of thing in this one. You know, as Luke learns the same thing in this movie.
Right.
I wish we got a cool action Phasma scene in Force Awakens. Make this scene hit a little harder.
Yeah, I've always been so neutral on Phasma.
It's a great scene. It's a great finishing off of this character. It's just like casual. Is it Beskar? Is it a Beskar suit? I bet you the book would explain that.
Yeah, I need to read the Phasma book. I remember, like, I was about to order it one time, and, like, I decided I didn't need to spend the money. So I was like,
that was your first mistake. You always need to spend the money on Star Wars books.
But this was, like, back when I was, like, working part-time, had to pay for an apartment, and, like...
Gross.
I was like,
not worth it.
I shouldn't spend the money. But I was, like... in the Amazon checkout screen, ready to click purchase. I was like, I shouldn't do it. Did we really expect Finn to die right there? Hey. I love that. Love it. I love that before her send off, we get to see what's behind the mask.
Yeah,
for a
just a little
second.
hint of it. You're like, is that
Gwendolyn Christie?
Is that Brienne of Tarth?
Yeah.
That's Rebel such a scum. Killer final line.
Rebel
scum.
And this is the first, this movie is the first time, like, a lot of the Resistance people are embracing the rebel term.
Yeah.
Like, Holdo says, Godspeed Rebels.
I made this point earlier when you were gone. The last shuttle ship that gets destroyed, the guy yells out Godspeed Rebels.
Yeah, he does.
And I made this point that I really like that the Resistance in this is a mixed bag of people who fought in the old war, who have to kind of like defend what they were fighting for originally, compared to new people who found that sense of hope and wanting to defend their galaxy, because the Resistance isn't New Republic. It's not like there's this job that they're trying to do. It's like they're just genuinely trying to save the area, their home. And I think it makes the sense of hope much more uplifting with the Resistance compared to the Rebels, even though they're both kind of the same thing about it. You know, there's just
I get it. I thought this was going to be the death of Hux.
I kind of wish it was, you know.
That would be kind of sick. Because I was of the group that thought Hux is not making it out of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And
he did.
I was like, oh dang. So like he actually died up until we see him again, you know? I was like, dang, that was cool. And then he didn't. I was like, oh man, okay. There they are, Vulptex. I love these little guys. I was so close to getting a tattoo of a Vulptex on my arm. Oh, I plan on it. And I forgot what happened. I think the guy I wanted to get tattooed from, like the one time I wanted to go in, he like wasn't available.
Really?
And I was like, man. So I still want to get it.
I'm supposed to be trying to get like a smaller tattoo here soon. And I don't know if I want to get a Star Wars one or not, but I don't know what a good small Star Wars tattoo would be. Like I have ideas of what I want, but it's not a one session.
Everybody,
kind of thing.
if you're watching this in the comments, either tweet us,
ideas.
Instagram us, comment, whatever. What Jackson should get? What Star Wars tattoo Jackson
All my
should
Star Wars tattoos are going to be on my right arm. So think.
Oh, it's
going
gonna
to
be
like
left for me.
Left for
Star
you.
Wars is left for me.
It's right for me. Well, and I've got my Obi-Wan over here.
Yeah, so you already
I'm
started
stuck
it
already. Yeah.
Yep. That is so key to this moment too.
Yeah.
Of good people will come if Leia calls out to them, and the fact that they call out and no one comes.
Yeah.
That's like all hope is lost.
And reading Bloodline makes that hit a little harder too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I never thought about it that way, but you're completely right. Yeah, like
it's like everybody turned their back on her when they found out, you know.
And like the fact that like the few people who did still trust her, like they heard her call, but couldn't make it to Crate.
Well, and like being too afraid that they wouldn't be enough, you know?
Right.
Being like, I'm not going to do it because someone else will come. And it's like, who else, you know? But not until the next movie.
Love this shot.
Yeah.
So Saving
Always
Private Ryan.
The realism, like the grittiness of Star Wars.
POV handheld.
Yeah. I really want to read Twilight Company, which is a Battlefront book.
Yeah.
And it's all about a Hoth troop.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Is that Donald Sutherland? I don't think so.
Sand.
It
Or
kinda looks
salt.
like it,
I don't know why I said sand.
That's Gareth Edwards, director of Rogue One.
Oh, that was, yeah.
The guy
I recognized his face.
The guy on the left of the salt guy.
Salt guy.
Salt Bay. I love the color palette
of Crate. Yes, I agree.
So cool.
The best joke is coming up. What the hell? Yeah, I love the wide shots of the Crate battle.
I said, this is one of the most beautifully shot
Star
Wars movies.
This whole trilogy is probably just obviously it's modern day, but like
just in general, I think.
In general.
Because I think Empire's
got some great
wonderfully
shots
shot
in it,
movie.
yeah.
And it was, it was made over 40 years ago. 45 years ago. No, 42 years ago.
42.
Star Wars has this, A New Hope has its 45th anniversary this year. It's crazy.
We're going to be around for the 50th anniversary of,
Isn't that weird?
Of all of that. Yeah. That's so strange.
We'll probably be old, but we'll probably be around for the 100th anniversary of Star Wars. I'll be on the 100th anniversary, I'll be 70.
I'll be 79.
I'll be 79.
78. You'll be 79, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
So on our 8,000th episode of Through Imperial Eyes, we can talk about our
welcome back, everybody,
the 100th episode or the 100th anniversary of Star Wars.
What do you think they'll do?
By then, they'll probably be on Star Wars episode 20.
Yeah.
So
think of the celebration. I get emotional thinking about that.
I know.
Choked up in myself.
Yeah, man. And here comes the Falcon.
I appreciate Chewie getting some good Falcon action in this movie.
I love like how him and the Porgs are kind of pals now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, I tried to eat your friend, but
Yeah.
you guys can come with us. What
and
happened
how
to
everybody who tries the Millennium Falcon like shooter seat like loves it?
Yeah, literally.
Sky!
All fighters.
Oh, they hate that shit. I love that line. Here we go. This is super sick. This is something you'd see in like Rebels.
Love the TIE fighter chase song.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be something you see in Rebels. So pretty.
It just goes to show how good of a pilot Chewie is.
I know.
Though.
I was just thinking that. I was like, wow, Chewie did all of that.
Like he's such an underrated pilot.
I kind of wish we got more Falcon content like that in Solo, rather than it just being like run away from the big monster and shoot off into hyperspace. You know, like
I think we do
a close quarters style chase with the Falcon. You know,
yeah. We should do a Solo commentary. I love that movie.
I'd be down.
That movie has really grown on me in the past because I was one of those people who like, yeah, whatever, Solo's fine. But the more I've watched it, the more I'm like,
it's fun.
I kind of love this.
Fun. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
All right. So, what do you think about Finn's almost sacrifice? I think it says a lot about Finn as a character.
Yeah.
And that he'd be willing to sacrifice himself for the Resistance.
Yeah. Especially with how the beginning of the movie, he was still wanting to run.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, he doesn't even know if this is going to work.
Well, I think, too, is that, you know, I just said, like, he was wanting to run, but, like, this is also another kind of tactic of his to run, is that, like, there is only run or die.
Yeah.
So if he's obviously not allowed to run, he's going to try and die about it. And do you think it would have worked?
I don't know. I truly don't.
I don't. I think the cannon was too charged up.
And imagine how damaging that would be for you as an audience member of Finn sacrificed himself, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
I think that's great of, you know, her saving him. Because I like to think that she knew it wouldn't work anyway.
Yeah.
So she's like, what are you doing, dude? This is one of the only things in this movie that I'm just like iffy about. But I'm glad it just happens. It's done with. Never talks about it again.
I kind of get the same vibe with the kiss and Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're kind of like, that happened, but
yeah. Dummy.
It's time to go save all your friends now.
I'm glad they made it awkward though.
I'm glad it's a quick kiss.
I'm like, glad it's not just like I'm glad Finn doesn't like reciprocate and
it's not this big
it's
romantic
kind of just
smoochy.
Yeah, this heat of the moment weird thing that like, okay, that was weird, but then it's never like we don't have to settle in it. Not yet. Because here comes your hope right here. I get kind of emotional here because, like, here comes, like, this literal embodiment of hope in this moment when the whole galaxy has let Leia down.
In a planet full of people who have probably never even known if this person was actually true or not, you know?
It's like such a mystical, magical moment.
This is my favorite Luke fit. This is what he wears in The Rise of Kylo Ren too.
Yeah. That's a Carrie line. Yeah.
It's nice that way.
I'm so glad they got this moment. On screen together.
Yes, I was just thinking that. I always kind of have trouble at times almost registering that Luke and Leia are like siblings, you know? They're such drastically different people to me, and I think this scene does a fantastic job at the family between them, you know?
No one's ever really gone. And I'm so glad JJ took that and ran with it. Such a wonderful scene, wonderful moment. Gives the dice. And she knows that this isn't really Luke. She knows that this is a Force projection.
Yeah.
That was also a Mark Hamill thing. He improvised that as well. The kiss on the forehead. The wink. He's like, yeah, I know you know, but shut up. That's Mark Hamill's kids right there. To me, this whole event right here at the end is why I love Star Wars so much. And it's like closing the loop of this hero's journey.
Yeah.
In such a profound way. Need that poster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
More!
Do it. First time I saw this, I was like, wow, they killed Luke that fast, huh?
Like, that was easy.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, he must be doing like a force field around himself or something. But no, he's force projecting. I also love that all of the sequel trilogy movies, like each one develops the Force in its own way. Love that.
I think it's funny how that's not how the Force works is said by Han, because Han's the only person who wouldn't know that like the Force is so ever expanding that there's just so much to learn from it. It's kind of like a language, you know, like
for sure.
Like there's just ancient sides of it that could be just lost forever, you know.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but that's definitely a Mark Hamill thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell. Right away, sir.
Right away, sir.
And I love how he knows that Kylo is not really going to understand that he's a force projection because like this
Yeah.
is how Kylo remembers him.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, yeah, I like seeing how in Luke's like perfect like version of himself, it's this side of him that taunts Kylo, but it's this side that also like he's got the Skywalker saber, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it's this absolute version of
save
himself.
my soul. No. I love his delivery on all these lines.
I love the
stomp.
ignition, the stance.
This is where I was like, wait, doesn't Rey have that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
didn't that
being
get,
like, why
didn't
does
that
he
get
have a blue
destroyed?
Yeah, so confused.
I was like, oh, he must have like gotten it from the
He
Falcon
found
or
that
something.
really fast. Isn't that ship blown up now?
Yeah. This is where Poe grows into his own.
Yes.
This is where he realizes, oh, this is what I need to do. I need to be
Yeah.
a leader. I'm not just here to blow things up. I'm here to, fight for the survival of the resistance in a mature way, not a, cocky flyboy way.
1-1. The crystal critters. What are they called?
Vulptex.
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 The check behind.
Love that. Poe has the coolest jackets.
I agree. I think this one's a better jacket than
I agree too, dude.
Force
This is a
Awakens.
cool. Poe's got a good jacket in this one.
It's got some fits.
Hey, little guy.
I'm just a little guy squeezing through some little rocks.
See, for me, I'm just like, but wouldn't it like not be that hard to just like have everybody start moving the rocks?
Yeah, I was like, if you can see through it, like,
Yeah.
I bet you some of them are kind of heavy, but like, start throwing some aside.
Oh my gosh. Did you notice the detail the first time you saw this that Luke doesn't have any footprints?
Not the first time I saw
either.
this, but yeah.
And the fact that their lightsabers never clash during this.
Yeah.
It's literally, it is so true Jedi.
I just noticed this, but I liked the effect of Ren's lightsaber. Like, you can kind of see it like scraping the dust that's floating in the air.
Yeah.
Like it's sparking off of the salt snow.
That's the name of the movie.
He said the thing. Was wrong.
Oh, chills right here, dude. That's the name of the movie.
He said the thing. He did it.
I love that they juxtapose that with Rey immediately. And the music. Man, so great.
Oh yeah, Ben. Did you learn that from an Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe? I kind of wish they capitalized on that a little more in The Rise of Skywalker, though.
Yeah,
showing him kind of haunting Ben.
Script, isn't Kylo haunted by Luke, or is it Anakin?
In what?
In the Duel of the Fates script,
it's Luke.
It's
yeah.
Luke.
And it's only because of this line he says, "See you around, kid."
Yeah.
And disappears. And man, I would have loved to see that.
I don't know. I also kind of like.
Oh man, chills.
I kind of like
absolute chills,
knowing that like Kylo never sees Luke again after that. Like the last thing Luke tells him.
So like the whole time he's like scared that Luke's gonna pop up. I love how at the time that what we're about to see here with Luke dying, you can feel like a whole shift in the vibe of the galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clip your nails, Mark Hamill. Dang.
You've been living on a planet. He ain't got no nail clippers. They could be worse.
And I love that in Luke's last moments.
The sunset, man. I know. I get it. I thought that the first time I saw this was just like
in Luke's last moments. He's in the same spot that he was when he was looking out at the sunset.
But
looking out at the sunset, like yearning for adventure.
He's not longing. Yeah, he's not longing for the same.
Yeah, he's
anymore.
More reflective.
Yes, he is. And he is sitting, resting from his adventure. You know?
Like he's like, I've done what I can. My work here is done. And everyone else feels it too.
That's the poster shot.
Yeah, dude. Man, I'm getting kind of choked up.
I remember being in theaters and being like, wow, like that's it. Like that is the end of Luke Skywalker, you know, and sitting there and just being like,
it's shocking, yet it's satisfying.
Yes. I thought the same thing with Han, where it was like, that is how their story ends. And it's kind of heartbreaking that it's in this specific way. And like, so good.
I love that the dice were left.
I love all the old like Civil War tech and she gives him the bird, calls it a day. Could you imagine? She just flips him off and then close the door.
See ya, Stinky. Yeah, dude. Love that. And it's crazy that at this point in time, like, the entire Resistance can fit on the Falcon.
I was just thinking that this is the Resistance.
The entire Resistance can fit on the Falcon.
How do you feel about Poe and Rey meeting at the very end of this movie? Wish it was in Force Awakens.
I don't hate it.
You don't hate it?
No, it's not really something that bothers me.
I wish it was earlier because then I feel you could have built more, even if it was subtleties on their relationship, even in this one, because I just feel like in Rise of Skywalker, all of the time that they've spent getting to know each other has been off camera. You know?
Yeah.
And it's now like, and in Rise of Skywalker, their tensions
you don't
are
get
really
like
high.
That. Yeah, you don't really get that development
like,
into
why
that.
Why is everyone so angry at each other? Do you guys just met like a month ago?
I get it, yeah. I think there's like a year gap, but still, but even then, regardless.
Yeah, I felt that a lot with this
Love
whole
that last line.
trilogy. Is that
This is the whole of the Resistance in one shot. And the galaxy is already talking about what happened.
Yeah.
On Crate.
Yeah. Casual.
I love it though.
Yeah, I love knowing that it's just everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And I was saying that earlier. I love how the Force in this is much more, it's everywhere. It is this energy. It binds us. It's not this scientific midichlorian, you know?
And I feel like with this movie, it's not like Empire where it's kind of a dismal end, dismal cliffhanger.
Yeah, and Empire,
it
like,
ends
where do we
on
go
like
from here?
a note of hope.
Yes.
And that's The Last Jedi, everybody.
Honestly, props to Rian Johnson. You did a good job. F all them fanboys. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't write movies.
Yeah, like you can see why I love this movie so much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, the more I have watched it, the more and more I get to the level that you're at, where it's just like I'm just absolutely bewildered by it.
It takes some, like, if you look at this movie on a very surface level, it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, it's a lazy, stupid Star Wars movie.
But it isn't. It isn't.
It really is not.
So smart. It's so paid attention to, and I think that's the thing a lot of people don't get, is that they think it isn't.
And it's so respectful to Star Wars as a whole.
Yes. Now, when it comes to like Rise of Skywalker, I think that movie isn't as paid attention to, but it's not that they did quote unquote a bad job.
No,
they still develop the story, and they still do things with it that are faithful to Star Wars. But I think it's that, like, you could tell Rian Johnson like put his whole you know, into this, and this was fun. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, dude, I'm ready for more. We have to find out which one we want to do next.
You guys let us know. You guys let us know which Star Wars movie you want us to watch. It can be in an order. It can be another
hold
one.
on. Carrie Fisher tribute. I love the little.
You know what's gonna happen? I have to drive back to Cape Girardeau tonight because I have to work in the morning, and I'm gonna go so hard to the Princess Leia theme. I'm gonna play it in my car. And
all right, everybody. Well, we'll just let the credits roll here. But that was our 1 year podcast anniversary special.
Yeah.
I had a really good time talking about this movie.
This was fun.
And, like,
this flew by. I'm kind of surprised that we're like, we're done.
And I kind of like this more than Cantina, just because we have to talk about things as they happen.
Yeah.
And like kind of come back and reference things. It's really fun. And I'm excited to do this for like get into the prequels a little bit eventually. And you know, maybe we could try and do one for the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. Podcast. Oh.
Yeah, of this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we can, you know, we'll get a bunch in this year, and hopefully we can make it a goal of ours hopefully by the end of this year, somewhere near the end of this year, we will have commentated on every Star Wars movie. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on the actual video portion of this, and if you're listening, thank you for sticking around and listening to us for this past year. We've had a lot of fun just covering Star Wars news and just expressing our love for Star Wars. You know, no matter what the situation is, we just love talking about Star Wars, and you know, we do it for the love of Star Wars.
It's better than this. Just guys being dudes, you know.
Just a bunch of guys being dudes, really. But again, please tweet at us, comment, whatever you can do. Let us know which movie you'd like to see us comment on next. And, you know, always be sure to check out us every Wednesday for our Book of Boba Fett streams. And I think we're going to be bringing back our news episodes here next week, hopefully talking about some of the latest and greatest Star Wars news. But Jackson, do you have anything else before we get out of here?
just thank you. Thank you guys. We really
Seriously,
appreciate it. It's been a fun time. This has been
a fun
something
year.
that I think starting out, I'll be honest, I was like, yeah, it'll be whatever. We'll see how far it goes. But I will say it has been, and it is.
We've stuck with it.
It's been really fun. It's something that
I'm proud of
I
us for
look
sticking with
forward
it.
to in my weeks of
Me too.
getting to disclose and talk about it. And I'm glad that we have people that, hang out with it. So that's all.
sure.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so if you want to find us anywhere on the social medias, you can always find us on the Instagrams at Through Imperial Eyes Pod, on Twitter at Imperial Eyes Pod, and find us on YouTube at Through Imperial Eyes Podcast. Make sure you include the podcast part. Jackson, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Quacks and Scaling. It's QUACKSON and scaling like the triangle. And then you can follow my photography Instagram, which is at Deleen_photography, which is DALEEN_photography. Braydon, what about you?
And as always, you can find me on the Instagrams at braydonleadbetter, find me on the Twitters at braydathlon, and see what I'm watching, see what I'm reviewing on Letterboxd at bledbetter, and see what I'm doing in the video world with my job at Vet19 on YouTube. And please don't be shy. Hit up our Apple Podcasts. Hit up that Spotify. On YouTube now, we're starting to do a lot more on YouTube, so check us out there if you're not already. And yeah, check us out next week for some Book of Boba Fett, for some Star Wars news, and all of that goodness. But until then, may the Force be with you.